Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to today's session. How are you, my dear children? Some of you may be thinking, who is this new face? This is Shaji Auntie, if you don't recognize my face. Some of you maybe know me. I'm a reception teacher. Welcome and thank you for joining the session. Hope you enjoy the session. How are you all? And how is your... I know some of you been to school this week. Did you enjoy your time in the school? I'm sure you've been keeping safe, following all the rules that teachers ask you to do, making sure that no hugging and no playing together, making sure you wash hands and all the rules and keep safe. Okay, so let's start our session by making sign of cross. Let's put our hands together to God and let's make the sign of cross. വിശുദ്ധ കുരിശിൻ്റെ അടയാളത്താലെ ഞങ്ങളുടെ ശത്രുക്കളിൽ നിന്ന് ഞങ്ങളെ രക്ഷിക്കുക, ഞങ്ങളുടെ തമ്പുരാനെ, പിതാവിൻ്റെയും പുത്രൻ്റെയും പരിശുദ്ധാത്മാവിൻ്റെയും നാമത്തിൽ ആമേൻ. Did you all get that right? Thank you. Well done you all. I hope you're all practicing it during your family prayer with your family and your parents. Thank you. So, let's see what we've been learning last few weeks. I've been talking to reception about last week's about the importance of prayer and how we can make a good prayer, and also we've been learning about Mother Mary. We also looked into the importance of God's love and how important is God's love for us. So today we are going to learn about a different topic. The topic is faith. So faith in God. Can anyone in here tell me what is faith mean to you? Yeah? Can you? Oh yes, it is. Faith is a complete confidence in something or someone. So I asked the same question to Marin and she told me, I asked her, what is faith, Marin? Then she told me, believe in someone. So I asked her, is that me? Then she said, yes, I believe in you. And I asked her, why do you believe in me? Then she told me, I believe in you because you are my mom, I can see you, I can trust you. So she's told me, because I have faith in you, that's why she believed me. So it is like if you can see and experience something or someone, you believe. So is that what faith in God? Faith in God is being sure of what we hope for and certain of what we do not see. So faith in God is not just what we see. Faith in God is what we can believe in, something we can't see. That hope for God is our protector and provider, and we should keep that faith in. That is a basis for any Christian. So for instance, for an example, I got this chair in front of me. I have used this chair many times, so I have a faith in this chair because I can see it. I've used it, but until I sit down myself, I do not know whether that is going to hold me in, because it might have a broken leg since I used last time. So I'm going to just try out if that happens anything to me. Oh yeah, that's fun. I'm good on this chair, so I have faith in this chair. So if I take a different example to that, do you think any other example where you believe in something you can't see? Yes, for instance, like air. You can breathe air, but you can't see. Do you still believe in? Because you feel the air, and if you don't have enough air, you get suffocated. You become like, if you are in a very small room, you feel that you can't get the air in, you can't get the enough air. Same like wind. Can you feel wind? Can you see wind? Can you? That's right, yeah. You can't see wind, but you can feel wind. You can experience wind. It's just like that God's love is. You can experience God's love in so many different ways. So you experience God's love in your personal life. You see God's love in different people's love. We learn about God's love and different stories through Bible. So I'm going to take you through some of the faith heroes in the Bible. So I've got I have this written down here on this board about some of the faith heroes we look through the Bible. Firstly, we're looking through Noah. All of you know what Noah did and what it means to you, and you learn about Noah's Ark. He was very faithful to God. He always listened to God. In fact, he was the only person God felt loyal and trustworthy. So God asked Noah to make a big ark to save the world, But Noah wasn't sure what was going to come. But he knew that God is telling me, so I should believe in God. So he kept that trust in God, and that's why, even though he didn't know there's going to be a flood, there's going to be rain for 40 days, he didn't know this is what God tells. So he believed, he had that faith. So he hoped God is trustworthy, so I have to believe in God. He kept that faith in God. That's why he became a faith hero. Secondly, I'm going to bring your attention to Abraham. So you all know Abraham is the father of all the faith. So he's been father of the nation of Israel. So he was called to be faithful to God when he was 75 years old. That's a little bit too old, is it? But God doesn't look into your age, and Abraham did not bother about that, because Abraham was very faithful to God. He had that faith in God. So soon as God called Abraham, just he listened to him and he followed, and he became the father of the nation. So you also remember about Abraham. God and gave him a son, Isaac, when Sarah was 99 years old. That was not a childbearing age, but still, because the faith in God, God gave Isaac as a son, the only son. But God asked him to sacrifice Isaac. So when they were going for this, Isaac asked Abraham, "We got everything for the sacrifice. We haven't got the actual thing for the sacrifice." So what Abraham told Isaac was, "God will provide me with the sacrifice." That much the faith was of Abraham. So we got a third person, that was David. You all know about David and Goliath, the story of David and Goliath, where David was just a little boy. He was a shepherd. He never hurt anybody in the past, but God called him because this gigantic man, the giant, the Goliath, was causing a lot of trouble. So God called him, and David listened to his call and defeated this Goliath and become the king. And you possibly remember all these books of Psalms. So if you get a chance, just try and read one book of Psalms if you can. I could also a story about Daniel. Daniel was also very loyal to God, and he was very trustworthy and faithful and listened to God. And other people did not like that, and he was put into lion's den. You also may be remembering about the story. We talked about this before. So, but he was saved because God listened to his prayer, and Daniel had a great faith in God. And number 5, I got Thomas. Thomas, we all know who is Thomas. We are called as Syro Malabar, St. Thomas, Syro Malabar Nasranis. So we are called in name of St. Thomas, and we celebrate feast of St. Thomas. We have a St. Thomas feast and the day, because he went to India and converted a lot of people to Christianity. So Thomas, although he initially doubted God, but he had a great faith in God. You remember when Lord Jesus appeared after his resurrection to the disciples, when Thomas wasn't around, he wouldn't believe in Jesus. Then when Jesus reappeared and asked him to come forward, Thomas, and touch on my nail and touch on my hand and believe in me. So these are the 5 heroes of faith I want to bring your attention to. So make sure that you, if you get a chance, try and read some of those stories. There are a lot more stories we can see in the Bible. You also probably have some personal experience. I myself have personal experience. Last time when we were traveling back home, our taxi was stopped in halfway, and we had to reach in the airport, but we couldn't because it stopped and there was no one to help. Suddenly, we all started praying, and God sent an angel. A man came and stopped his car, and he took us to the airport, and in time, we were just in time for the flight. We were in so much worry, but God saved us from all the trouble. And I also a lot of other personal experience. I'm sure you also maybe had some personal experience. So what I want to do through this, I want you to make a list of some of the faith heroes from the Bible, and if you want to take some of the names from this list, you can. And if you if you don't mind, can you write a small story about one of the faith heroes who may be favorite of yours, either from the Bible or somebody. If you can choose one from this list, choose that, and either make a small writing about the story of Noah, story of Abraham, or story of David, or you can color a picture of the story of one of the stories. And if you mind sending into our church website, all of us can see. So I think that is all about today's faith lesson. So keep up the good work, and just to recap, today we've been talking a lot about what's the importance of faith. We looked about the personal experience, what it means to you, and I also want you to do a little bit of exercise by making a list of the names of all the faith heroes in the Bible. And if you can write a little note about the one of the faith hero, write a little story or color a picture of one of the story and send back to us. So let us end this session by listening to one of the story in the Bible about Abraham and Isaac. So thank you for listening. We'll see you again next week. Have a good week. Bye-bye.
Abraham was beloved by God because of his faith and love for God. He followed whatever God told him and did not question or doubt him. God always tests the people he loves, and so he decided to give Abraham one more test.
Abraham, wake up.
Yes, God, I'm here.
I have a very important task for you, Abraham.
Tell me, my Lord, how can I serve you?
You must now take your son, your one and only son, to a place called Moriah. There you will offer him as a burnt offering on the top of a mountain that I tell you.
Oh, very well. As you wish.
The next day morning, Abraham rose early and got ready to do what God had told him to do. There was a long way to go to reach the place that God had told Abraham to take Isaac. He readied the donkey and chopped up firewood to burn for the offering.
Father.
Yes, Isaac.
Where are we going, Father? So early in the morning.
We have a long way to go, son. We are going to give the Lord a burnt offering.
Abraham took 2 young men with him on their journey, and they started walking to Moriah. On the 3rd day, Abraham saw the mountain that God had directed him to go from a distance. He stopped walking and asked the 2 young men to wait with the donkey while he and Isaac would go to the mountain, pray to the Lord, and return to them.
Father?
Yes, Isaac. What is it, my son?
I see that we have the fire and the wood. Where's the lamb that we are supposed to sacrifice?
The Lord himself will provide us with a lamb when we go to pray. Come on, let us go now.
And so Abraham and Isaac walked to the top of the mountain where God had told him to bring Isaac. He built the altar for the sacrifice and laid the firewood on top of the altar. He then picked up Isaac and laid him on top of the wood and tied his hands behind his back. He then took a deep breath and raised his knife over Isaac when he suddenly heard a voice from above. It was the angel from heaven.
Stop, Abraham. Wait. Do not harm your son. You have proven that you trust and fear God like no other man. God is pleased with you because you did not question God when He asked you to sacrifice your son, your only son. This was what was most valuable to you, and you have surrendered it to God without question. You are blessed, Abraham.
Oh, I will worship the Lord till the end of my life and obey His every order without question. I have complete faith in God's will.
Indeed, the Lord is pleased with you and will bless you abundantly for this. He will give you many descendants. Your sons and grandchildren will multiply over the earth. They will be like the stars on the sky and the sand on the seashore. Your descendants will have victory over their enemies in battle. They will be blessed because they are your descendants, Abraham.
And so, just as Abraham had told the two young men, he and Isaac returned to them, and they all walked back to Beersheba, where they lived happily ever after.